This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, my name is Megan Thomas and I'm the Director of Member Services for IIABSC. Today we have Joseph Cox, who is the Marketing Manager for Trusted Choice. So we're really excited to have him here. He is doing the second webinar for us. Today he will be focusing on how to incorporate Trusted Choice into your already marketing efforts that you already have scheduled within your agency. He's also going to be giving digital reviews to all the webinar attendees, so he'll be able to tell us more about that. Before I turn things over to Joseph, I do want to make sure you all remember to mute your phones so that we don't have any of those interruptions. And also be sure to visit our website, iabsc.com, for information on the events and education and seminars that we have coming up. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to you, Joseph.
Okay, great. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So yeah, today I'm going to kind of go over how to integrate Trusted Choice resources into your marketing strategy. So, whether you kind of know about them already or don't, I'll kind of go into some detail about what they include and then kind of how you can use them and sort of how you can kind of make the most of them. So getting started, I mean, the first question really is, what marketing is your agency currently doing? And it really ranges from none at all to a whole lot. And really, wherever you kind of fall on that spectrum is okay. There's plenty that Trusted Choice can do. So I would say kind of the less you're doing, the more you can lean on our resources. But even if you're doing a lot, there should definitely be some places our resources can kind of plug into what you have going on. So I always kind of like to kick things off with this quote, which really just I feel like kind of sums up pretty well what Trusted Choice is about. So the kind of the strategy and the purpose of Trusted Choice is to really let us do some of the heavy lifting. Oh, sorry, I have an animal on me. Let us do some of the heavy lifting. Let's help with your marketing efforts so you can kind of put your time and energy towards other things. So keep in mind everything that we'll cover today, which can be found on our website here. All these programs are free and included with your IIABSC membership. And you'll see the URL there at the bottom, which is where you can access everything that we'll talk about today. So we're going to talk about kind of 4 key areas that Trusted Choice can help your marketing strategy and integrate into it. So I would say the first one we're going to jump into is expanding your marketing reach and utilizing new channels, professionally developed ads.
I don't know.
Advertising or not, you can utilize some of these resources. So just kind of going here, this is a little screenshot of our marketing campaigns page. You can see our top 3 campaigns. Just go to the website and click on marketing campaigns. But we have several available, and they're all kind of different, but they all always highlight the value that independent agents bring to consumers. So there's different themes and different looks for each one. And then you can kind of go to each one here and just kind of select, whether you want something digital, something for print, social media, video, radio, etc. And then the cool thing is they can all be customized to include your agency logo and info free of charge, which can be done by our in-house graphic designer. So it's really easy to order and then get them back for free in about a week. And then another part of the page here is one that just lets you select independent of campaign, and you can just choose a resource type. So for example, you might want something print, but you can also just choose a digital ad. So this is kind of where I would really encourage anyone to maybe try a new channel if you haven't done any digital or social media marketing. Digital marketing is pretty key right now, and not just because of COVID. So, this is definitely the future of marketing. And if you haven't started, I would definitely, think this is a good way to kind of, dip your toes into it. So just kind of want to touch on, some kind of traditional marketing versus digital marketing. So, traditional marketing it's traditional. It's stuff we've all done before: magazine ads, flyers, billboards, things like that. So, you know, they're still around for a reason. They are effective and they're useful. But you can kind of see some of the cons. To me, the biggest one being hard to measure and no direct interaction. Cost is one thing, but you know, cost is always going to be part of the mix. But when we look at digital marketing, the pros here are really engagement that's measurable and then it's targeted. So the ability to measure your ads, I think, is really, really important. And it's just something that's hard to, it's just so head and shoulders above traditional marketing efforts that you can really know exactly where to use your funds, and really just kind of figure out how to get the most bang for your buck. So, you know, whoever you're targeting, I can guarantee you that they can be reached by a digital ad of some kind. And then the other thing to keep in mind is digital marketing is not a one-time thing. It's really an ongoing, or it should be an ongoing effort, or excuse me, an ongoing part of your marketing strategy that will really benefit your agency in the long run. I would say what I've learned is one of the key differences between small versus medium or large agencies is how much effort they're putting into digital marketing. And these bigger agencies definitely know that this is what will kind of keep them afloat in the future. Okay, so this is just kind of want to highlight a couple of our campaigns here. This is one of our newer ones, our You Do You campaign. We ran this nationally. And this kind of emphasizes basically how many different needs a consumer might have for insurance in their life and how it can get complicated, and how an independent agent can kind of uniquely kind of take care of that for them and let them focus on what they like to do. So due to our own digital marketing efforts, this campaign had over 150 million impressions. We ran it nationally, ran it on TV, ran it online. We did Hulu and YouTube. So we really, had a lot of success with this campaign. Another one, this is our newest campaign, is called The Big Picture. So this just kind of talks about, again, how independent agents can just sort of see the big picture of insurance needs for a consumer beyond what they might realize themselves. And, the key with this one is it is available in Spanish, which is the first time we've done that. So the full campaign, all the pieces are available in English or Spanish, and that has digital ads, social media ads, video, radio, etc. So if you're in a market that does have a Spanish community, I would definitely suggest kind of looking into these. Okay, the next area I want to jump into is either launching or strengthening your social media presence. So, I know particularly with insurance agents, a lot of people say like, I don't have the time for this, or is it really important? Do I need to do it? The big number that I like here is 3.5 billion, which this is the number of daily social media users. And honestly, this number is from 2019, so it's surely higher at this point. I mean, 3.5 billion, it's almost half the planet. So, and that's daily users. So the main reason that you should use it is because undoubtedly your customers are there, they're using it. If you're gonna pick one, definitely Facebook is still king, especially for kind of older consumers, insurance shoppers. Facebook would definitely be the leader. So, 2/3 of US adults are using Facebook. I mean, that's a lot. And again, that's even a couple years old, so probably higher at this point. Facebook has 2.5 billion daily users. So this is where they are. This is where you should be as well. And then, so if you're confused about what to post, kind of the short answer is don't overthink it. So I would say you don't always need a complex social media strategy for it to be effective. You basically just want to make sure consumers think of you when it's time for them to buy insurance. So a mix of informative content and then kind of personalized stuff about your agency, about your staff, any kind of local outreach is usually what's most effective. So to kind of help with this part of your marketing strategy, we do have a resource called Content to Share. And this is kind of a library of content that's ready to be shared, hence the name. And it includes kind of graphics, but also articles, videos, infographics that basically are kind of in a library ready to go, and you can just share them straight to your social media. So if you're not doing anything, you can kind of come here and share stuff all the time. Or if you already do have a complex social media strategy or a not too complex one, but you're looking for something specific, you can also come here and find what you're looking for. You know, for example, if you were looking for particularly a piece about hurricane, or just, you know, something about summer like grill safety or pool safety, boat safety, anything like that, you can just kind of go in and search, and, you know, we'll surely have some content for it. And then we're always adding new stuff, especially as, you know, kind of seasons come up. So just to kind of look a little further, then once you kind of have a piece selected that you're interested in, you can just directly share it to either your Facebook or your Twitter, or you can download it if you prefer, if you want to use it somewhere else. But each piece will have some suggested social media copy, so you don't even have to write anything, and it's pretty much all done for you. So we also have a content calendar. And what this does, this really kind of helps you with your, you know, with your social media strategy in terms of planning. So again, all this content, people say, all right, I don't know when to use it, or I don't have the time to figure it out. We have this content calendar. We post a new one each month, and this will kind of tell you key holidays, key days to be aware of, where you can post, and then we'll have specific suggestions on what pieces you should use on what days. And this has been really popular since we launched it. So you can kind of view it online on the week by week, or you can choose to download the whole file. And then that'll just kind of give you the full month's worth. You know, little kind of side tip, if you haven't used it before, there's a service called Hootsuite. It's really affordable, and it lets you kind of lets you schedule posts for later. So, you know, you don't have to worry about every 2 days getting online and making sure you're posting at the right time. You can just kind of spend an hour or two and get your posts done for the whole month. So your website, improving your website. So your website should really be a key part of your marketing strategy. Your website is really the first impression that your agency is probably going to make on somebody these days. So it's really important that it's making the right first impression, and that your site is easy to use and information is easy to access. So one of the resources we have to kind of help you with the website portion of your strategy is our digital review. So this is really just a tool that we have, a service that provides a detailed review of your website, both from a technical perspective and on, you know, which kind of covers things that might be impacting your search engine rankings, and then also a user experience review. So you can see that we've done over 1,500. I mean, it's rated 4.5 out of 5. So, you know, everyone that gets this usually enjoys it and kind of gets some, you know, interesting insights. And then 80% of people who get it usually make some or multiple improvements to their site. So if I get everyone's information after this, I will be sure to send those your way so you can kind of see it for yourself. Kind of the headline banner image of the site is you get this overall score for your site. You know, it technically is a 100-point scale, but just for whatever reason, the way this report works, it probably maxes out around 75. 75 might be like the best site, you know, that we've seen. Lower end sites are probably around 35, 40. So this 52 on this example isn't too bad. But throughout the report, you'll see this kind of past, improve, or errors. And basically, you'll see these various topics. We have SEO, mobile, usability, etc. And then if you kind of see below that, you'll have that red, yellow, green. But on the bottom right there, I think this is the most important thing, is you'll see the impact versus the difficulty to solve. So what that can mean really is you might see something that's really impactful on your, you know, that might really impact your SEO rankings, but it might be really easy to solve. So it's like, oh yeah, I can just add some meta tags here, and that can really boost your search engine rankings, and it's really easy. And of course, you're going to do that. You know, the flip side of that is you might see something that's really, really hard to fix, but is really low impact, and you might say, you know what, I can kind of live without that. So the report, you know, kind of leaves it up to you and lets you decide what things you might want to improve and what things you might not want to. I would say the report is really good about being both technical enough that if you are a web service provider or you have someone on your team that handles, you know, manages your site, you know, you can it's very technical where you can understand specifically what improvements it's telling you to make. But if you don't have that background, it explains everything pretty well, so you can at least understand, what you're choosing to kind of work on or not work on. And then just kind of looking, for example, this is one of the items in the report. You can see particularly this one is high impact and difficult to solve, but certain things like this will have a link to additional information that can kind of go into, more info to give you a more robust idea of what you might want to do. Another portion of the digital review is the social media review. So if you have some social media accounts and you include that in your request, you can just, we'll take a look at those. And this kind of just makes sure that you have things, that it looks right, that you have the right information on there, that you're posting at the right times and the right kind of content. So we'll take a look at that and kind of give you some feedback to let you know how your social media looks. And then also we'll kind of provide some information about social media best practices, so you can kind of choose to use that or not. We did recently create an agency social media guide, which is also available on our website. It's really thorough. And if you're either thinking about getting started with social media or you're already doing it and not sure, of exactly everything to do, the social media guide is a really good resource to look at. It has a lot of valuable information. And of course, just like the digital review, everything we have is free. So just, feel free to download it and see if you can get some useful information out of it. So one thing that comes up sometimes, after we review certain sites is, is it even worth fixing? Is it maybe time for a new website? So just kind of one thing to keep in mind, basically kind of industry standards, that you should kind of redo your website every 2 to 4 years. Of course, how often you really redo it is up to you, but these things are changing a lot. So if you're well beyond 4 years, you should probably consider launching a new site. It's actually really easy to do. If you haven't done it in a while, it's getting easier all the time, and it's actually more affordable than you might think. So just kind of a quick plug for some of our preferred partners for web services. So this is a group of vendors that we've partnered with, that we've all vetted, that all make quality websites, and they all mostly work exclusively with independent agents, so they know exactly what you guys need. And then collectively with this group, there's kind of a range of price points, service levels, capabilities. So if you are in the market for a new website, I would recommend taking a look at some of these. They have a page on our website where you can kind of get a little more information about each one, and if you'd like, schedule a demo. But if you're in the market for a new one, I think you might be surprised how affordable it can be. So the next area I want to talk about is Google, particularly Google reviews and Google My Business, which can really boost your website, boost your search engine rankings. So if you haven't done this already, you really need to claim your Google My Business listing. This is free, it's really easy, and I'm sure we've all seen these before. This lets you kind of update your business info, your hours, your location, your contact info, etc. And also it lets you respond to reviews. So that's pretty critical. And that really also, the more active you are with it, the more Google sees you as a trusted website, and that's what gets you higher search engine result rankings. So if you haven't done it, jump on. This is the first thing I would do. It's really easy and it can help a lot. And then what it does ultimately is, I'm sure we've all seen kind of something like this. When you Google something, before it even gets to the actual organic search results, you usually get this kind of business box above. And claiming your Google My Business and having a solid number of reviews and kind of engagement is what gets you here. So I would definitely get on this right away. A lot of users, will select something from this list before they even go down into the search, the web results, if they even go into the web results. So this is a real way to get a leg up on any kind of local competition. So, talking more about online reviews, they're really critical these days. As you can see here, 9 out of 10 people are reading online reviews before visiting a business. And I would say that basically these days, online reviews have replaced word of mouth, which, is very important in this industry. And online reviews are the 2021 word of mouth. So you got to have a good reputation online. And then I think the other thing to keep in mind here that's really interesting is not only 9 out of 10 people reading them, but just about 9 out of 10 trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. So we know how important those are. It's really critical. And if you don't have a lot of online reviews or not, too many 5-star ones, this is definitely an area that you should focus on. So we do have some resources on our site that kind of give you some stats and some direction on how you can go about, asking for more reviews, getting more 5-star reviews, and just kind of highlighting just, again, how important it really is. So take a look for that on our website as well. We have a whole page that can kind of get you started. So saving on your marketing budget, everybody loves to save money, of course, and all members are eligible for over $2,000 in reimbursement. If you haven't heard of it, it is the Trusted Choice Marketing Reimbursement Program. So it has 3 levels, and 1 is for co-branding, 2 is for a digital upgrade, 3 is for an Advantage subscription. I'll go into a little more detail about each one. So option 1 is co-branding. So this is going to be more of these traditional marketing things that we touched on earlier. So what you can do is basically if you incorporate the Trusted Choice logo into any of your traditional marketing, you can get back up to $750 per agency location. So you have multiple locations, there's no cap, but this is by way of matching at 50%. So that means is if you spend, $1,500 on a new sign for your agency and it has the Trusted Choice logo, then you get back $750. This is a lifetime value per agency location, but you can also use it in multiple transactions. So if you spent, $500 on some new business cards for everybody and it has the Trusted Choice logo, then you'll get back $250 and you'll still have a remaining balance that you can use in the future. Online, you can find all the logo files as well as guidelines on how to use it properly, just to make sure you can remain eligible for reimbursement. And then something new we did this year is our digital marketing incentive. So that again kind of goes to some of the things that we talked about earlier, some of those digital marketing efforts. And you can get back again $750 for per location. But it has to be used towards digital marketing efforts. So you can do things like Facebook ads, online ads, TV, radio, and it can be both for ad development or ad placement. So I'd recommend kind of using the money for ad placement because we already do have these marketing campaigns I talked about earlier. You can use those again for free, which will have your logo and stuff. And then wherever you choose to run them, whether it's on TV or online, we can help you get reimbursed for those costs. And again, this is also like the last one where it's at a 50% match. So option 2 is you can get back a flat $500 if you build a new website with any of our preferred partners. So these are the ones I just highlighted a minute ago. And this is not by way of matching. So you get back a flat $500. And what that means is, they all have different pricing, but some of these you can get, I think, the first 2 months for free with no setup cost with this reimbursement. So, if you're in the market for a new site, they're already pretty affordable and we do have some special pricing, but if you include this $500 reimbursement, it can really, really bring the cost down. And it's kind of one of those things that's almost, it'd be silly to pass up upgrading, while you have this available to you. And then 3, if you sign up for an annual Advantage subscription, our lead generation site, trustedchoice.com, get back $125. I didn't really go into them too much today. That's kind of a separate arm of Trusted Choice, but probably the one that's the most well known. But that is our lead generation site where all members are listed. But if you choose to sign up for an Advantage subscription, your listing is a little more prominent, a little more premium, and then you can see the URL there at the bottom if you were interested in kind of looking to that a little bit more. So, I kind of wanted to keep this one short and sweet. So I just want to kind of go back to the beginning. This is where everything can be found. If you see there in the bottom right, there's a chat feature. So if you're ever on the page and you can't find what you're looking for, if it's business hours, someone is available to live chat with you. If not, if it's after hours, you can still leave a message and someone will get back to you in the morning. And just kind of one thing I also want to remind you of is that if nothing else, at least Trusted Choice can save you time. And we all know how valuable that is. So even if your agency is doing all of these things, using our programs can can allow you to focus more of your time and effort on other areas. So just kind of something to keep in mind as you kind of browse our programs, think about what you might want to use. And then just to kind of do a quick recap. So these are the 4 areas that Trusted Choice can help your marketing strategy. So we have advertising resources, social media, website, and then saving on your budget. So each of these elements is key to kind of creating a robust and effective marketing strategy. And then they can all work together to really amplify your brand, amplify your messaging, amplify your reach, and then ultimately, get more leads and get more sales, which is always the goal. So I hope you guys might consider using some of those programs. Again, there's the URL to our website if you need to go check it out. And there's my personal contact information. If you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer them via email. Of course, I'm happy to answer them now. Let me see. I feel like one came in the chat. Okay, David, I see your question about the Advantage membership. So if you signed up, and one caveat to that is you do have to be a new member, I think, or at least you cannot have been a subscriber within 2 years. But all you have to do is get your proof of payment. And then if you go onto our website here, trustedchoice.independentagent.com, you go to the marketing reimbursement section, and then you'll basically just see the form for submit a request, and then you'll just kind of go ahead and basically show your proof of payment, and then someone on our team will just review it, and you'll get your 125. So does anybody else have any questions while we're here?
Joseph, I have a question. I'll wait and see if anyone else has any after this, but we have a lot of agencies, like some from smaller agencies and some from larger agencies.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were maybe if you could give 2 top actionable things that they should take advantage of now, what would be your top choices?
I'd say the top 2. I mean, I really think, and they kind of go hand in hand, it's gonna be the marketing campaigns and probably the marketing reimbursement. I really think this industry is a little behind on kind of adopting digital marketing efforts, and it's really, really important. So I think if you're a small agency and you're not kind of sure what to do, I think with these funds being available, I think it's a great way to kind of dip your toes into digital marketing in a kind of, borderline consequence-free way that can kind of let you experiment with it without it, kind of costing too much money for you guys, if any. And then, that way you can, sort of test it out without having to, kind of nail it the first time. It kind of gives you a little wiggle room to figure it out without, having that financial impact. So I really would say that would be a key area to focus some energy and give a try. And then I think the other thing too is the website. I feel like a lot of agencies underestimate how important a website is, and really underestimate how much of an impression it makes. It really, really makes a big impression. I mean, there's tons and tons of studies about just how, how quickly and how deeply people form opinions about your website, and then ultimately about your agency. I mean, it's just like people, we've all heard these stats of how quickly you can form an opinion about a person, and it takes, they don't have to speak yet before you don't like them, or that you do. And it's the same with websites. It can be 2 seconds to be like, nah, I don't like it. And there's, the truth is there's a lot of insurance providers, and you don't want to give them a reason to leave. You don't want to give them a slow loading website. You don't want them to not be able to find the information they need, or, to even know if you offer what they're looking for. So I think those 2 would probably be where I would recommend kind of looking at first.
That's great. And if you have any other questions, you can drop it in the chat. And we'll try to address those real quick before we scoot off.
Okay, I guess not. And then David, if you have any challenges with that reimbursement, feel free to just kind of email me directly, and I can make sure that you get reimbursed.
Excellent. Well, Joseph, thank you as always. Of course, anyone who's attending today, if you want to reach out to Joseph, feel free to do that. He has tons of information and tools at his fingertips that he's able to share with you and your agency. So don't hesitate to reach out to him. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Thank you again, Joseph. We really appreciate you today.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.